Lancia. 10 years of the team that's combined Italian passion with Scandinavian daring to win no less than 7 World Championships. Had their moments, but they've been virtually unbeatable in the World Championship over recent seasons. The 16-valve Lancia Delta Integrale, 290 horsepower, and the first driver to tackle Gale rig, the new women's world champion, Louise Aitken-Walker.
I'll start that stage and I'll not know what's happening to me, because these things are so exhilarating, you know, to drive. And just the experience to have four-wheel drive, you know, it must be a help. So I'll just drive this thing as best I can.
Louise Aitken-Walker and Tina Turner pass the midpoint of the run in what must be the most challenging car Louise has ever had to drive. Starting first because she was placed 6th after the opening run of 2 minutes 16 in the Subaru. And starting first really can be a disadvantage because the amount of loose gravel on the stage can make things very slippery. The main ambition though for Louise is just to hang in there and keep in touch with the rest. Even taking things carefully, up around 85, 90 miles an hour, and not far away from the jump that the bravest of the rest will be taking absolutely flat out just a little bit later. Louise not quite getting airborne there, but keeping it in line, that's the main thing, and now it's just a short sprint to the finish. That was the co-driver's estimate. Official time, 2:15.
First time I've had a car driving me through this stage, I'll tell you. That was like really exciting. Devastated with the speed and the power.
Now we can see what kind of an effect the car has on the British champion David Llewellyn. Brian Thomas alongside, and Llewellyn desperately keen to test himself in genuine World Championship machinery. Well, he's getting his chance here. Coming up to the first checkpoint where we can match Llewellyn's progress against that of Louise, and Llewellyn substantially quicker, 5 seconds up at that point. Remember though, Llewellyn 5 seconds behind the leaders from the opening stage, so he really has got to try hard on a stage that's going to have a lot more grip for the later runners. Going hard through this middle section, no real place for the driver to relax, it's downhill all the way. Second checkpoint coming up now, and 140. Well, surprisingly, he hasn't picked up any time on Louise. Now there's a very awkward corner coming up now. It's important to get the line right here. And Llewellyn hit something very, very hard on the inside, and the car got quite a bit out of shape, possibly up on 2 wheels there, and that's upset the rhythm a bit. Rather tentative over the jump. The finish is coming up. Louise's target of 2 minutes 15 seconds. Well, he's 7 seconds inside that. But well, at one point there, he almost put the car in the trees.
What's it good with it?
No.
Hey?
No.
What was it?
I thought it was about 8.
Oh, that bump had us that time, right?
It did, didn't it? Put us right across.
2 minutes 8 seconds, the time for Llewellyn, but here's the moment that frightened the life out of them and possibly cost them a far better time. There's a dip on the inside of the bend just coming up here. And Llewellyn hits it very hard, and it's a moment or two before the car is back on 4 wheels.
We had a bit of a moment there. Just before the jump, on a right-hand bend, there's a dip on the inside now. And I just threw the car right up onto two wheels and went right onto the outside of the bend and up the outside. And so I had to ease off, get her on the correct side for the jump, which meant easing off and, you know, to take the jump straight so you don't end up in the bushes. So yeah, we lost a handful, I suppose, 2 seconds perhaps. But there we are, we're here. Just.
So all a bit exciting for David Llewellyn and for Louise Aitken-Walker. Now in theory, how it should be done. Lancia Works driver Alex Fiorio, second for Lancia in the 1989 World Championship. And you don't have to speak Italian to understand from co-driver Luigi Pirolo that they're going to be trying very, very hard. Just coming into the switchback series of corners, just under a mile into the stage, and Pirolo seemed to be giving the signal for Fiorio to slow down at one point there. Quite understandable. Now coming up here, the gravel stage goes briefly onto tarmac, and this is very easy to get wrong. Fiorio, quick tweak on the handbrake, and it looks as if he did get it wrong, sliding the tail out, and I'm sure a second or so is gone there, chiefly because it upsets the line so much for the next section. First checkpoint, remember, Llewellyn was through there in 1 minute 9 seconds. It's coming up now, and Fiorio is a second slower, so although he's going hard, this car perhaps isn't giving him quite the advantage he hoped for. So no doubt all-out attack now down to the second checkpoint, and Llewellyn was through that in 1 minute 40. Once again, speeds hovering around 100 miles an hour. And the next check will be around this corner that's coming up now. And Fiorio has clawed back 2 seconds on that section, 1:39. Next problem for the Italian, heading through the corner that gave Llewellyn problems. Now with his works experience, he should have the confidence to keep his foot hard down over the jump. 4 wheels off the ground, the car stays in line, and a storming finish here by Fiorio. And just in that short section, he's picked up 2 seconds on Llewellyn and sets the new target of 2 minutes 6 seconds.
06 is good, but I think they could do less, because every time you pass it, the road is clean. That is good.
Loose gravel, still a problem then, but ironically it was the tarmac that cost him most time.
A bit out-handed, did it? Came off the power a bit, didn't it?
Everything under control though as Fiorio attacked that final section. This is how brave the others have to be to better his time of 2 minutes 6 seconds. So 3 drivers gone, with Alex Fiorio as expected setting the standard. But now it's the 3 drivers who are tied for the lead after the first stage of the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge. Pentti Ricola, first of all.
But he looked good, he came out there.
Yeah, I came out, but I entered very slow.
Wow. Better than the 2 fast.
So the quandary for Pentti is how to handle that tarmac corner. This was Fiorio's approach.
My co-driver and some other co-drivers, we were taking times there, and it's difficult because it's one of our decisions in this junction here, whether to use a handbrake or not to use a handbrake. I choose to use a handbrake, and I drove earlier in the morning. Alex did it first practice run with a handbrake, and then time run without handbrake. And the clock told that with the handbrake it was quicker, so I probably will use also the handbrake. So we shall see how it goes.
So the tactics worked out. It's Ricola with co-driver John Meadows out to break the deadlock at the top of the Rally Challenge leaderboard. Ricola, the surprise winner of the 1989 Lombard RAC Rally. He has got a bit of experience with the Lancia on a previous RAC rally, but nothing perhaps to compare with this works version. Great names that Lancia have taken to the world title. Sandro Munari back in 1977, Juha Kankkunen in 87, Vicky Biasion 88 and 89. And both Kankkunen and Biasion will be driving for the team on the RAC. And Auricola is going well on the first section of the stage. Coming up is where the problems start, though, the tarmac section. Auricola having decided to use the handbrake more than Fiorio did. Now you see the result, brings the back round, and only a little bit tidier than the Italian. Now Llewellyn is fastest so far down this opening part of the stage. 1 minute 9 seconds his time to the first checkpoint. And that checkpoint coming up now. And 1 minute 9 seconds also for Auricola. Well, it was in this middle part of the stage that Llewellyn lost some time, or at least didn't go as well as he could. So it's important that Auricola keeps the power down and keeps it neat and tidy as well. And that's an elusive art which the Finn has mastered down the years. Now second check, Fiorio is the quickest so far at 1:39. And Auricola's got inside that at 1 minute 38 seconds. So now the closing part of the stage is where Fiorio was both quick and brave. Auricola's ahead, but I'm sure he's going to find it tough to stay ahead. He's going to challenge, he must keep the foot down over the jump. And the foot was hard down, but a very heavy landing indeed. Did well to keep control. Now the sprint to the finish for what could be a very good time. 2:06 the target. And he's the fastest. Auricola 2:05, and he's beaten the Lancia Works driver by a second.
Very good, that.
Yeah.
Much neater.
Yeah. I think there is room to go a little bit quicker in some places. I have a junction where the service area is, I didn't do that particularly good. But I didn't do very well in practice either, so, so there you are. But some of the jumps perhaps a little bit faster. All over big jump, we were quite a nose-heavy landing, and so it was good, but there was enough weight here inside the car to put it back to the road. But that's part of that. That was quite exciting. Yeah, I like to see what it looks like in film.
Well, this is how it looked from the inside. Wait for the bang as the car hits the road.
Yeah, I'm very happy to do the similar time as Alex Fiorio does it, because he competes with these cars all the time. And I was very impressed about this car. It's a fairly easy car to drive, and very enjoyable, very fast.
So a stern target set by Auricola for Blomqvist and Malcolm Wilson, the other co-leaders at the end of the first stage. 2 minutes 5 seconds or better, the target first of all for Stig Blomqvist. Blomqvist giving the cameraman a bit of a fright as he got a little bit sideways off the start line. 1984 world champion, and alongside him is Benny Melander, his co-driver, when he finished an excellent fourth in the championship 2 years ago. And Blomqvist, of course, also the reigning champion in the Mobil 1 Rally Challenge. Four-wheel drive and left-hand drive, a familiar combination to the Swede. And interesting to see how he handles that tarmac section that neither Fiorio or Auricola got right. And he seemed a lot straighter, a lot neater, and no doubt a lot quicker. And the first check time might tell us that he's quickest so far through this opening mile. 1 minute 9 seconds, the time for both Auricola and Llewellyn through this section. Timing point is coming up now. And, well, Blomqvist isn't faster, 1 minute 9 as well. He seems to be driving well within himself, so maybe he's got a chance to really challenge Penty for what could be the overall lead. Penty down to the next check in 1:38. That check is now, and Blomqvist has lost time. He's dropped a second behind Auricola. And remembering how Penty went through that last half mile, I think that he's going to find it very, very hard to get that second back. 2 minutes 5 seconds is the time that he's got to beat. That's Auricola's time. Coming up to the jump, and not quite so ambitious there. That 2 minutes 5 seconds looks safe at this point. And Blomqvist is 2:07. He drops into third place behind Fiorio. 1 to go, and that's Malcolm Wilson.
Looking forward to driving the car. I mean, it was nice to get in the car this morning. There's one little tricky bit down there that's a little bit apprehensive about. If you cut the corner too tight, there's the problem where David had his problem. So we'll see how it goes.
Wilson referring to that bump in the track where Llewellyn put the car on 2 wheels.
2, 1, go. 80, here, right.
But with barely 10 stage miles on this event, you can't really afford not to attack. And Wilson with co-driver Nicky Grist, part of that 3-way tie for the lead after the first stage in North Wales. And the British driver certainly with the ability to break the deadlock, Britain's top-seeded driver in World Championship rallying.
40.
No Lancia experience, but the stage by this point in the competition should be scrubbed pretty clean. It should potentially be very, very quick.
And flat right of the brow, to K easy left, 30. K, fast K left, long.
Well, it looks as if Wilson is saving most of his caution for the second part of the stage because he's attacking hard at this point. Let's hope he's not attacking too hard with the surface having changed from gravel to tarmac and back to gravel again in just a few yards. But he's round all that very neatly and very possibly quicker than the others.
To left max, 40.
Let's remind you of that target, 1 minute 9 seconds for the first part of the stage. A time shared by Llewellyn, Auricola and Blomqvist.
40, easy right.
That checkpoint is here and Wilson is inside the time by a second. Wilson fastest by 1 second. And if he keeps up that form, well, he's the new leader of the Mobile One Rally Challenge.
Absolute left, over crest, keep in. Flat left, long,
but so many places you can lose time from now on. Pentti Auricola was fastest down this next section. He was through the next timing check in 1 minute 38.
Cut flat right. 70 over crest. Fast left.
And Wilson has dropped a second in the last half mile. He's now tied with Auricola's intermediate time of 1 minute 38. And once again, remember just how brave and how bold Auricola was down the closing part of the stage. I wonder if Wilson can match that. Is he going to be flat out over the jump? Well, all 4 wheels were off the ground, but only the clock will tell us how committed he was. 2 minutes 5 seconds, Auricola's target time to beat.
70.
And Wilson punches the air, but he's missed it by a second. Auricola leads the competition by that 1 second.
I think on the asphalt, the really bad downhill, 2 really tight Ivan's long past K corners. And I went into them to try and be neat, to try and just keep the car straight and not move around too much. And I think maybe just slow down a little bit too much. Very neat round, and it was nice, but I think in this sort of competition you've got to be a little bit more ambitious, but if you just step over it, it's very easy to sort of half spin and lose that vital second. And maybe the jump a little bit. I mean, Nicky said absolute crest, and he was sort of knocking me to say, come on, you know, it's absolute, but I think you've got to be very brave. I know I watched Pentti over there and he didn't lift, but I'm afraid if I can't see the road, there's got to be a little bit of apprehension there.
Understandable apprehension.